So, hi everyone, welcome back to our podcast. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about how we use technology and the role in our practice, etc. So, before we start, let's give you all an update about us in our practice and our study. So, for me, it is getting closer to year three of my prof doc. And what about you, Kira?
So I'm just under a year into my CPAR journey. It's gone very quick, I must say.
Yeah, it really is. I remember when we first started talking about having a podcast together, it was just in the very beginning, and now all of a sudden, yeah. And for me, I recently just started my research one, so sent out some questionnaire to other experts, other athletes as well, which I will present it in the International Sports Society of Psychology, ISSP. I forgot how it is called, but I will present it in a conference in Hong Kong, which is in December. So that is exciting.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about a rough idea about what your research is about?
My research is about how and understanding the tendency behind athlete thought process in terms of using mental health services. So how we can support athlete better as a sports psych or for better insights for different sports organization as well, coaches for different staff member, how we can create a better environment and more safe environment for athlete to ask for help. So that is essentially the idea here.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Is there anything any updates you wanna tell people about?
Yeah, so well, for me, I've been
Yeah.
working with a university and football team, so it's kind of off season for them. So my summer's been a bit quieter. I've
Mm.
still been reaching out and applying for jobs, but it's more focusing on some of our paid work while I got a chance to actually earn a bit more money. And then come September or late August, September, the season starts again, and so that's when I'll start working with the same teams again, and then yeah, I'll let you know when I secure a new placement. At the minute, it's all applications.
Good luck to you. Should we go back to the podcast then? So the flow
Yeah,
would
let's get on with
be
it.
our general use of different technology in our life as a trainee sports site. And then I guess it is the biggest topic in technology right now. Why not? Let's talk about it. And some pros and cons, some misuse in it, and what we think is a better practice.
Yeah,
And we have
let's go.
some news to announce at the end.
Yes, a bit of a change to our podcast.
Yeah. You want to start?
Yeah, so let's start off with what do you think about technology and sports psychology? Very broad question, but how's it affected your practice so far?
I love technology. I am a big technology guy. I have so many random tech products on my desk right now. I think it is a really good
Yeah,
tool in terms of data collection. It is so good. So we have a lot of camera, AI, human tracking. It is really good for data analysis, performance analysis as well. We have smart watches, record different biometric as well. It is some really good input, I would say. It's really positive for me as a trained esports site because sometimes it can skip some conversation. We can just go straight to the data. It is a little bit easy for me at times.
yeah, I would say,
Yeah.
especially for when I was doing my undergrad and postgrad, if you're reading through a very long paper, you can just click Control F and you'd find it rather than books.
Oh, yeah, true. I like
So
reading
there's a lot of shortcuts.
on the iPad.
Yeah, see, I actually still prefer reading from a book, like a hard copy book. But if I want to find something quick, then I prefer
Oh, yeah, I
online.
remember you showed me one before.
Yeah, I've got quite a few books, just got to get on with reading.
Going old school. Yeah, I would say technology is very positive overall. So if we want to talk about in one-on-one practice, not so positive for me in terms of that. I like using technology in terms of data collection. So questionnaire, different smart watches, different biometric readers, those are really good for video analysis, for those kind of stuff. But when it comes to practice, especially online, having one-on-one section, my experience is not that good. Really feels like I'm losing those human touch. And sometimes when I actually see the athletes in person again, it just feels so awkward. It's things we see online, and all of a sudden, it's just in real life, all of a sudden, it's just transition is just not there for me. But what about you?
Yeah, so all my interactions with athletes, most of them have been in person. And I feel like sometimes the only ones I have online is sessions with my supervisor and the other trainees in our group, and it feels like we know each other, but we don't know each other. It's like it's always different meeting them online compared to in person. So I feel like it could take a bit more time to build that relationship and like get
Yeah,
the athletes to form the trust, develop the trust a bit more. But there are still like, as you said, good things because I've got to do a lot of CPD. I know you probably do as well within
yeah,
your profile. So actually, sometimes when you don't have to go to a conference or you don't have to attend a session, sometimes online is fine, especially when you're not delivering it, because you can sort of just sit back and you can like listen to them, but you don't get that same level of engagement, I don't think. Then
100%
there are
agree.
signs like you can still pick up on signs of the body language, and if say they're shuffling in the chair or they're looking around, so you can still sort of gain a sense of how they are, but just not as much.
Yeah, I like what you talk about trust and then the bonding with the client athletes as well. So compared to in person, how big of a difference you think there is in your experience?
I feel like sometimes over time it becomes more natural online, but in
Mhm.
person, like I don't know, for example, say the academy football team, like the initial meeting was a bit awkward because they don't know me, but then you're there over time and like they just behave a lot more naturally. They're not as stiff. They let themselves behave in a way that they are like they have their jokes on the pitch and they'll mess about. And then that's when you see their real them. Or like I just prefer in person overall, I would say.
So you're talking about the power of just being present in the team that can do a lot of talking instead of just, I don't know, pop up online. That sometimes just
One
pop up
second.
on practice. Yeah, talking about the negative side of using online meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't feel like you see that whole personality sometimes. They'll withhold
Hmm.
stuff online. They'll try and come across as maybe someone different, but I feel like it just takes a bit longer. Like give 4, 5, 6 sessions in,
Yeah,
that'll become more natural and they'll become more comfortable. But
for that
yeah,
I
I would
completely
say
agree.
if they're in a natural sporting environment, and sometimes it won't take as long for them to actually become more comfortable around you. That's when you got to make light
Yeah.
of the situation sometimes. You just got to have, rather than going straight and with hardcore sports like talk, you have to ease into it.
I agree. I think online meeting should be a backup rather than that is the main way to do a session. But what about group workshop? Group workshop, I quite enjoy doing online meeting, especially it is very difficult to book a room and have everyone in the same place at the same time. So for group workshop, I'm quite positive about it. What about you?
I would say it depends on who's listening to the workshop.
Ah, it's true.
Because you don't know if they're fully engaged, especially if they've got the camera off and it's muted. You just feel
So
like you're talking
basically,
to
you're
a
the only
screen.
one talking.
Yeah. So it's like I like to read the room. I like to sense how the people looking at the workshop, how they're receiving it. So that's when you go from body language again. So a lot of the time I understand, especially from lockdown. My second year was all online, so it was I would log in the morning, and sometimes you're not really paying that much attention.
Yeah. Well, when you
But
talk
as
about
long
body
as you keep
language, when they turn off the camera, there's none. We cannot even read them.
But I feel like if you keep it engaging, that's when you've got to adapt your workshops and you've got to make sure it's interactive.
Yeah, that's true. We need to be a really good host in terms of group workshop and online group workshop when everyone just turn off the camera and stuff. So
But
that's
there is definitely like if you're doing a workshop and it's say you're in London and you need to go up to Scotland, the group
mhm.
workshops online make sense because you don't want to travel all that way for like an hour or two workshop.
And also depends on how many people are attending. If it is hundreds something people, which is quite unlikely for a sport team. But if the parents want to join in or some friends refer to another friend, a lot of people want to join in, then online is definitely a good option.
Yeah, exactly. You've got pros and cons for each.
Mm.
So I feel like a mix. Like do it in person when you can, but as you said, yeah, have that up as back and it's available if needed.
What about in terms of other technologies like psychometric assessment, and we talk about before the meeting, those technology that you use in your practice. How do you use those in terms of your in-person practice?
So I would say video analysis is my
Mm,
most used technology. So it's not just looking at how many successful passes they've done. You can also use it in a sports psychology sense with looking at the body language, looking at how they respond to situations. A lot of athletes will just go over their videos and be like, "Yeah, I scored here and I
mhm.
missed this shot." but they don't understand. They don't go deeper. They don't understand what happened, and they don't look at what led up to that moment, how they
Yeah,
responded afterwards. So
I fully agree with that. A lot of athletes want themselves videotape and they want to make highlights on themselves, but they rarely use it in a sports side perspective. For example, if someone score, but some athlete didn't go and celebrate together with them, then maybe there is some sort of group dynamic issues going on there. Why is someone not celebrating but another athletes are? And when they have make some mistake, and how did they respond to those mistakes? Those are the things that for us as a sports side we will focus on, rather than always about the highlights, the goal, and yeah, those sort of.
exactly, and they're able to refine their techniques from
Mhm.
it, and actually it will bring up things to them that they're not aware of. Like some people don't aware of their type of behaviour.
Yeah,
But yeah, video analysis, because in real time you can't capture everything. So that's when
yeah,
if the games can be recorded, then great. Because I know for the netball team, they have the session that I do before the training. They go through highlights of the game, statistics, and then I do the sports psych session. So I kind of integrate the two together. So I always go back to the evidence because if you tell an athlete, "Oh, do you realise you did this?" and they'll be like, "No, I don't."
there you go.
But you kind of got to be like, it's okay that you don't realise this. Now you do. Let's
Mhm.
change it. Or if it's a good thing, be like, oh no, I don't do this, but actually you want to do more of that. Then you can also highlight the good things about the game. So I'd say video analysis is the biggest one I use. And then actually, smartwatches are a lot more people have smartwatches now, but I don't feel like they utilise it enough.
In sports psych perspective.
Yeah, because
Mm.
I know for me, like when I first got it, I was obsessed with like, what's my heart rate or how many hours did I sleep?
How many steps?
Actually indicate, say you got a high heart rate before the game, your
Mm.
anxiety could spike. So it's not just in a physiological sense, you can also link it to the psychology side.
And
And
we
that's
can also
with
see a pattern. For
yes.
example, in away game, the heart rate is higher than home game. So what are other factors affecting the athlete when they are away from home? So those are the pattern we can see. And this is a really good point about heart rate as well before the game.
It's the same as sleep patterns. You can
Mm.
see if it's before a game, do they get less sleep than during midweek?
Yeah.
So they're the things that you can highlight to the coach and let them know, and actually address that situation before it
Mhm.
does deteriorate for the athlete too much. And then I'm not sure I did mention about mental health apps.
Oh yeah, that is a big one.
Yeah, so some people like tracking it themselves, and some people like smartwatches so that it tracks it for you. But for the mental health apps, if you want, we can link some down below if people are interested. But even if you go on the App Store, you would find loads come up.
Yeah, some free
Um,
ones, some with subscription, some paid one. The low.
a lot of it is just logging your mood.
Yeah.
Logging your mood, what you thought. You can write reflections on there, like do diary entries, and that's just another helpful way of
Yeah, I
logging data.
agree. That is a good way of logging emotions and thought process, behavior, those kind of stuff. But it rarely offer any actual support, to be fair. Just helping you to provide data maybe for your sports psych in the future, rather than helping you in that moment. But I would say logging things is a good habit to have.
Yeah, and some people prefer on their phone, some people logging it on pen and paper. So then you've got
Hmm.
the argument as well, is technology better
Hmm.
at logging it because we're on our phones all the time, so it makes sense. If you've got the storage capacity, then definitely get it on your phone and just set reminders. It takes a few
Yeah.
minutes. And then I haven't used
Um,
this yet actually, but I know VR headsets are starting to be used, especially within F1, and like they can have the simulators.
yeah,
Um,
simulation is a big thing in racing.
Yeah,
So
I mean it's in a much safer and controlled environment,
mm,
so that's a massive benefit from it. But have
to
I
help
used it?
athlete to train their muscle memory in different track, that is a big thing. I would say it's quite niche. Have you thought about using VR in sports side practice? Both therapists and also the athlete is also using the VR headset. A little bit, I don't know. It may
Yeah,
work in the
I
future.
wouldn't say I thought of it yet, but I've seen it being used. Not in person, but like say you're watching documentaries or something like that. Then, but it's if you have the money basically for it. If you're
Why not?
yeah. So if the club can provide that, then yeah. But it's one of those things that it shouldn't come out of your pocket.
Yeah,
So
and
it
especially
definitely
for
can
us as
enhance.
trainee.
Yeah, it's just another option, really. but
Mm.
maybe later down the line. But yeah, when it's in a safe and controlled environment, especially for F1 players, you would utilize that because you can practice your decision making and your reaction times and not necessarily having to go out on the track. So
Yeah.
that's definitely been advanced a lot more because how it was before, how it is now, it's a lot more lifelike. But yeah, the main ones I use would be video analysis and actually planning all my stuff online. Use the Google Drive. We use that to plan our podcasts. Um, using
And the
Canva.
video we're doing right now as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. So yeah, we can't meet each other in person today, but we've set up online.
Hmm.
So more
The other
options
thing I
now.
like about technology is to help me do note taking. That is pretty good, honestly, because it helped
You can
me
do
to focus
transcriptions.
on sorry, say it again.
I was going to say you can do transcriptions as well. You can like
Yeah.
talk into it and it'll type out for
Also feels a little bit more natural when I speak to my client because I don't have to keep writing things down. I can just simply just talk and pay attention to the client's the body movement, the facial expression rather than looking at my note. So that is a very positive thing. The other thing, let's talk about supervision meeting and how we see online meeting in supervision. You have any thought about it?
Yeah, so because my supervisor isn't actually that far from me,
Mm,
she's just outside of London, I'm London. So technically we could meet up, but for everyone else, all the other trainees, there's about 5, 6 of us now. We're all scattered. It's not feasible and it's not realistic for us to do meetings in person. So it's always been online, and I'm coming up to a year now.
mm,
We do monthly meetings, so it's become fine now. Like it's become natural. Like originally it was a bit awkward because no one wants to speak up on the microphone, but now it's just second nature. We all sort of know
Oh,
each
so
other.
how's your meeting like? Is it a group meeting or is it one-on-one?
We have both, so we
Okay.
have one one-on-one, one group meeting. So this month meeting, I'm doing my supervisor's going to observe me. So every month we'll have a topic. So we're going to do case formulations, where I'll
Mm,
basically either make up a scenario or base it off the experience I've done, and I'll design a workshop, and that's how she gets to do the observations.
okay.
So, like, there are different types. You can do observations, like they can come down and observe you, or we also do this option as well.
Come down
And like
as
before,
in person.
yeah, but that just isn't possible at the current moment. So
Yeah.
our meetings are online, and it's okay now. How about you?
Have you ever met your supervisor in person?
No.
Well, there's pros doing my prof doc in the university because obviously there are lecturers, like quite a lot of people working there, and I can see them in person as well. So when we go back to online meeting because we alternate it, and also my supervisor live all the way in the States, which is impossible to meet in person. But when we do meet in person and I can feel the warmth and the actual connection there is so much stronger. And I learned so much more in that just one day of superficial meeting or just meeting up than online meeting. It's really hard to put it in words. Sometimes the care you feel from your supervisor and something pop up and they want to find some resources for you, they can do it straight away in person. But then online just have to send you some links, some PDF, and those are the major resources you can get. At least to me, that is the major thing I get online.
Yeah, I feel like it depends on personal preference. Some
Mm,
people feel more confident and comfortable doing it online because then they don't have to talk as much and that suits them. But actually, some people prefer that personal connection that you get
yeah,
from a person.
just on tangent here to tell people about what Prof dot look like in terms of in-person meeting and online meeting. So we do have our supervision meeting, weekly meeting, which is online, but the whole group will also have an online meeting once a month and another once a month sort of workshop event. And then we have a once every 3 months, which is some workshop, in-person workshop. So basically that is it. And if you're year one postdoc student, then you have to be in university around every 2 months, I would say, and there will be some other lecture and stuff. That is all about. So it's good to have some balance here, especially for people doing. You probably have some job aside, so not too demanding in terms of being present.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say that
Mm,
with every supervisor in the CPAR, like whoever you pick, they have their different approaches.
yeah,
Some supervisors do occasional in-person ones. I think it just depends on who the other trainees are within the group and
yeah,
how possible it is to actually meet in person.
and
Because
also
yeah,
working situation as well. If they're already working full time, it is, I would say, it's quite demanding. If you want to do a prof, maybe other pathway, everything is online and less workload in terms of research. Then yeah, it's just so many options nowadays, I would say.
But at the same time, you've got all the
Mm,
resources from the uni. You can actually use
that
a
is true.
library.
Yeah,
You can use the online systems.
yeah.
So
Just being a student is good. Student discount as well.
yeah, overall not too bad.
Mm.
So shall we talk about some dilemmas around some ethical issues within technology, within online meetings?
Yeah, another big topic. We can talk about links that to AI, the biggest thing in technology right now.
Yeah. And do AI impact and what dilemmas there are?
Yeah,
I feel like everyone knows Chat GPT, and
so many AI model nowadays.
yeah, that's the main one I'm familiar with
Mm.
and I've used in the past. What other ones would you say you've used?
Um, to be fair, also mainly ChatGPT, and then sometimes something from Apple itself, just to read email quickly, give me a quick summary of what the email is about. But apart from that, also mainly ChatGPT, use it to give me and generate different ideas of what I can do with clients in a group settings. Um, Sometimes help me proofread the things that I have written because English is not my first language. So having AI on the side give me the confident boost in terms of writing things. But personally speaking, when I try to ask ChatGPT, can you give me some a brief understanding of certain topics, and it is just giving me rubbish, I would say, just gibberish.
Yeah, you have to be careful. Some of it
Yeah.
isn't reliable. So you wouldn't rely on that. Say you want to plan a session for this, I wouldn't go for that because that's when you need to go for the books and the literature out there. You need the
Mm.
evidence. Using AI is more of a summary. You just want to generate ideas. I would say people rely on it if they've never used it before. But yeah, you shouldn't. It shouldn't be your main source for getting
I would say if you use AI, you
information.
have to know the topic to use AI because you know sometimes AI can be wrong.
Yeah,
And
I
you
know
have to
people
know the
that.
topic to know that AI is wrong.
Yeah, because some people literally, I've heard online, like, you do your degree and then literally asking AI to write the essay for them.
If they,
If you actually look at it, some of the resources they give you are either made up or just completely incorrect.
especially
And
the
then you'll get
reference
done.
list, none of them you can find it on actual journal.
No. So definitely stay away from AI when you're doing that because you will fail the essay. You'll fail your module because of it.
Yeah, but I would say AI is good in terms of helping you to refine your ideas. And if you already know the topics, it would be a really good tool. Because for us as a human being, we are the person to do the judgment, whether or not it is something that we can use in our actual real life situation. And AI is just there to help us to give us more ideas of stuff that we already know rather than generate something new. I think that we still require on actual human experience.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I agree with you. But at the same time, you can't, as an AI tool, can't remember what I was going to say now. But yeah, I think you've covered most points.
I would say is I try and use AI to practice my communication skills, counseling skills, just to talk to a robot basically. That helps a little bit before I go into, for example, last year I go into a live sports event and I need to speak to so many strangers. So I use AI to basically just to talk to a robot to improve my confidence speaking to different strangers, especially when they're older than me. I feel a little bit pressure when I speak to someone older, and that gives me the confident boost. And I really like that part, but it's just really unnatural as well.
Yeah, exactly. AI, remember, is a robot. They're not going to have the same feelings or responses as human are because AI is more predictable in a way.
Mm.
Um, but with athletes, every athlete is different and you will get different responses to the same situation. So the main thing I would say, don't rely on AI. Use it for some advice and some ideas here and there.
You see, it is also just a large language model. Depends on who giving the information to the model, and whatever is generated, it's just based on whoever giving the certain information. It may not be accurate and
Yeah.
can be quite biased as well.
Most internet, like Google, has its own AI. I use Microsoft Edge sometimes. That's got its own AI.
Copilot.
Yeah. I wouldn't say there are loads out there if you just type in AI like this. An
Mm.
AI for AI system for like every type of industry there, I would say.
And even Google
There are
now
hacks.
basically
I think
force you to use AI.
yeah. So it's all around us. You can't avoid it now.
So overall, what would your advice to the trainee when it comes to a better practice in using technology in general?
I would say it's a good question. There's a lot to it. Explore different technology options. Like we're trying out this new website for the editing might go well, might not, we don't know. And then we'll go from there. So it's just literally trial and error at the beginning. Use a mixture of technology and books, actual physical books, because I don't know, there's mixed evidence. It's like, should you write on pen and paper or should you type? Like what do you learn more from? But everyone has a preference of what works best for them. Definitely use video analysis. There's loads of different ways. So don't just have your narrow approach too early on because there's loads of possibilities out there.
Yeah, so echoing on that, I really agree in terms of data collections, awesome using technology. Researching is also good, reading papers using technology, AI reading papers for you, that is so good. But in terms of session or delivering materials, I think it's still the best just to rely on human resources.
Yeah, and I would say another thing, always base it off the ethical guidelines, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're with a prov doc, like BPS has their own set of ethical guidelines, KC's has their own set of ethical guidelines that I'd have to like obey and like make sure I carry out, just to ensure that you're not going to put yourself in a predicament where you could get sued. Worst case scenario. It doesn't happen often, but you've got to make sure that integrity is there and that when you're collecting, especially sometimes I do collect data on Google. So Google Docs, and then some people, rather than pen and paper, going through a questionnaire like that, then you can just submit it, and then the data is a lot easier to analyze after because it's all there. You can like get 7 responses and it'll tell you who said yes, who said no. And so actually reading data is quicker that way. But making sure that the data is, you have the right security and privacy behind that, so it's not exposed. There's always risks of the data getting leaked or someone's hacking you. Make sure, yeah. So the confidentiality is a massive one there. You just got to make sure you minimize all the risks and don't
And also,
yeah.
if people are writing things, there are actually different AI policy for different journal nowadays. So even the journal I'm working with right now, we also are writing our own AI policy of how to report the use of AI. So we have to be very mindful of using different generative model nowadays. And yeah, that is all I have.
Yeah, so AI is a great use. So there are like personal thoughts on technology. Other people may have different opinions, which is fine. The future of technology and AI still evolving. There'll be loads
Yeah.
more apps and resources out there. Just be careful what ones you use. Some of them are easier to navigate than others. But yeah, as I'm going into my second year, you're going into your last year now. I'm sure if we have this conversation next year.
Hopefully.
And that's a good thing about sports psychology. You've got the option to extend it. I've got the option to extend it into 4 years if needed. Like some people do 2, 3, or 4 years. So it's quite flexible in that sense.
Really depends on the experience. Some people they just focus on research for their first and second year, and then just go on and do practicing at the final stage of their career of the prof doc, basically. Yeah. Should we announce something?
Yeah, so like, do you want it to go?
Yeah, so in the future of our podcast, we will invite different trainee on our platform. And if you're watching this video, you're an athlete or you wants to pursue a career in sports psychology, you're more than welcome to message either one of us. Send us a message, just comment down below. We're more than
Yeah, for
happy
sure.
to have you on our platform.
Yeah, because it's great us talking about it, but we'd love to hear from other people's experiences too, and sort of just share our journeys, share our advice, and support each other through the process. Great.
See everyone in the next episode.
See you